This is TJ with TechmadeEZ. Welcome to the channel. My channel is all about making things affordable, practical, and easy. And what we're going to be talking about today is why I'm finally making the switch from Intel CPUs to AMD CPUs. Now, I've been involved with computers for over 40 years in one way or another. Not by no means do I consider myself an expert, but I'm not a novice person either. And I was an IT manager 20 years ago. A lot's changed since I was an IT manager 20 years ago. But when I was an IT manager, I did try some off-brand CPUs at the time. And I can't remember if I tried any AMDs at that time, but definitely, I can't remember the name of one. It was maybe Nginx or something like that. And the reason why is they were cheaper. But anytime I used a CPU that wasn't Intel, Windows would just crash. And so I stopped doing that, and I've just been committed to Intel the whole time. But as time has progressed, and if AMD has progressed, and their CPUs become better and better and better, where they are a major head competition to Intel, there are some reasons why I'm making the switch, and some mistakes that I think Intel is making that has already hurt them and will hurt them going forward in the future. So let's get started. Okay, so let me back up here for a minute. So as I mentioned, I used to be in IT more than 20 years ago, and the company I worked for, if we needed a PC, I would just go build it. I built all of our PCs, so on and so forth. So I was just building PCs, so on. But then I quit that, went into real estate. Real estate got so busy, we office out of our home, that if I needed a computer at the time, I didn't want to take the time to build it, do the research. So I just got on and started buying used computers. And that's where I kind of started my journey of buying used computers, and what a great deal you could get on them. And so, and obviously, I had tried some of the off-brand CPUs back then, and I don't remember if any of them were AMD. I know Nginx, something like that. And at any rate, like I said in the introduction, anytime I used an off-brand CPU that wasn't Intel, I just had issues with the PC. And I did it twice, and I just said, okay, I'm done. And so I've been an Intel person. I just committed to Intel. And AMD's performance, 10 plus 20 years ago, just wasn't up to par with Intel. But over time, their performance has become better and better over time. And so what I want to do here really quick is I want to just go over the history of Intel and their CPUs, because it's going to be important to why I made this decision. A couple of reasons why I've made the decision to go from Intel to AMD. So let's look at the history of this LGA socket, the 1151. Now there's also the socket that's for the Xeon, and the Xeon that is around the same time period. Some of the motherboards were interchangeable with these desktop CPUs with the Xeon CPUs. In fact, I just bought an Asus, and it's using the X99 platform, and it came with a desktop CPU in it, Intel CPU. I think it was a 5930, and I put a Xeon in it. It's going to be my next server. And so, anyway, but what my point is here is that this socket came out in 2015, and it supported 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th gen. There was just a plethora of CPUs that you could choose from back then. In fact, let's just take a quick look at the CPUs that you could use back then. So if we go here, I mean, these are all the CPUs, and Intel did make a desktop Xeon CPU as well. So you have all these Xeon CPUs in here. When I talk Xeon, sometimes I'm really talking about the server CPUs, like the Z440 and the Z420. They take server CPUs, but look at all these CPUs options that you have. And then at the same time, you have the Xeon platform, which is compatible with some of the CPUs. And look at all of the Xeon version. This is the E520 2600 V4. Then you have the Xeon E5 2600. And so you during this period of time, the flexibility of CPUs, it was just huge amounts of CPUs that you could choose from. And it lasted for a pretty good length of time. I mean, they didn't come out with this LG 1200 until 2020. And I'm sure, now I didn't look and see when they stopped making some of these CPUs here, but I'm sure at least a year or two after this L1200 came out, you could still get CPUs for this platform. And so, you could say this platform was a 5, 6, 7 year platform. Well, now you go down from the 1200, it only supported 10th and 11th gen CPUs. Then you go to the 1700 socket, which is a 12th, 13th, and 14th gen CPU. So it supported 3, but the problem is with this platform, the 13th and 14th had problems with overheating and burning up your motherboard. So this is where Intel lost a lot of market share during this time. And it wasn't just the desktop CPUs that were doing that, it was also the Xeon systems that were doing that as well. I felt like I dodged a bullet because I just upgraded my app server to a 12th gen CPU. I bought a small form factor Dell with a Intel 12700 CPU, but I was looking at a 13th gen CPU, and it's really kind of overkill for an app server. It's 12 cores, there's 8 P cores, 4 E cores, and that's another thing I don't like. When they start going to performance cores and E cores, I'm like, what is that? How is that? And I understand why they're doing it. I think the E cores are really to do background processes that are constantly running in the background, and then the P cores are pick up when there's something that it really needs to work on. But anyway, I don't really like the P core E core thing. I understand, and I know it's about efficiency, so on and so forth. But so a lot of people just weren't jumping to Intel because of these 13 and 14th gens. Then they changed the socket again to this 1851 in 2024. And this is going to end, I looked this up, it's only going to end in 2026. So you have so Intel has created a platform. Now, their CPUs, you almost have to buy a new motherboard every time they come out with a CPU. And this is the problem. This has been a discussion that I've heard other YouTubers talk about. I remember one of them, they had somebody responded saying, well, you know what, it's not that big a deal, I'll just replace the motherboard with the CPU. Well, yeah, that's fine and dandy, but not everybody wants to replace their motherboard, and it's a pain, especially for someone that's never built a computer. They're going to upgrade their CPU, now they're going to upgrade their motherboard, they'll end up buying a new computer. And so it's just, I look for a platform because because this platform here lasted for so long, and the X99 platform lasted for a long time. I just want longevity. I don't want to have to replace my motherboard every time I buy a CPU. And so this is really, to me, this is discouraging, to have to replace your motherboard. And let me tell you, the problem is with replacing your motherboard, you want performance out of that motherboard. Now you're spending $200 or $300, $400, you can spend up to $500, $600 on a motherboard depending on the motherboard. So it's just, Intel just started turning me off on how they were changing sockets all the time, then the overheating, and AMD coming up through the ranks, their CPUs performing better, and competing in gaming, and now they're to the point where they're actually faster in gaming than Intel, or equal. And so it's like I just decided I'm going to try AMD, and I did buy an AMD system, put it together. My son's using it because I decided once I bought that one only had 8 cores, but I'm used to having anywhere between 16 and 18 cores, and where I'm just doing production work and video processing. I'm like, I want to try the 9950X out, not the 3D, because I'm not a heavy gamer. I do gaming testing, most of production work, and so that's why I decided to go with the AMD 9950X. The other system is an AMD 7700X. It works great. My son games on it with Linux. Works great. It's awesome. Before I talk more about my new system that I got, I want to review something with Intel CPUs for a minute. Okay, so I just want to look at these CPUs for a minute, because for the longest time, Intel, these were the size of the CPUs. These are the CPUs that go in the 1151 socket. So this is an i3, this is an i7. Now this one here is a Xeon. This is an E5. This is an E5 2600V3 Xeon, and of course it took I believe a 2011-3 socket. But again, those sockets, the X99 motherboard could also be compatible with these other desktop Intels. So it just made things way flexible. And then AMD today they still have that. They have their CPUs are the same size of these, and the performance they're getting out of them is just incredible. And the fact that the AM5 platform is going to be around for a while is also incredible. So I want to just take a look at sizes for a minute here, and there's a reason why I'm showing this. So if we look at here's our Xeon 2600, and then here's a Xeon. So after the X99 platform, HP went with the Xeon. They changed their platform and with these bigger CPUs. I mean, they're monster CPUs, and they use these on their new HP, their G6s, G4s. Anyway, they just went to this bigger platform with the Xeons, and then of course Intel went with a little bit longer CPU as well for their desktop, but kept it about the same size as what the CPUs used to be. It's just a little longer. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because eventually what I did is I did move away from the Z440. So let me talk about what system I was using for a long time. So let's talk. So this is the HP Z440, and I'm going to just tell you, this is my favorite CPU, or my favorite PC. And the reason why is it's very easy to get into. Lenovo has their version of this workstation. Dell has their version of this workstation, so on and so forth. But I just like HP's design here. It's just easy to get into, lots of room for cards. But then they came out with the HP Z series, these their newer series from the step up from the Z440, and I bought the Z8 G4 because it was dual processor, and so I ended up having two processors, 20 cores each, so 40 cores, 80 threads. I really thought the performance was just going to scream compared to my Xeon system here, this Z440 server workstation. Well, to my surprise, I didn't, with the stuff that I'm doing, now I'm not saying that there isn't a purpose for this in other things, because I was not using this system to its fullest capacity for sure, but the kind of stuff I was doing, the performance didn't really help. Video rendering, it didn't really help in video rendering, which shocked, it shocked me. And so after my buyer's remorse of this, that's why I started looking at AMD. And so my performance with the AMD though is just outstanding. I probably get anywhere from double to 3 times the frames per second rendering that I get with just the raw CPU processing power itself, without the video card rendering. And so I'm really happy with the AMD platform. So let's talk about the life cycle of AMD for a minute, their processors. So before we do that, this is a picture that I took of the Xeon CPU, and then this newer CPU. They made them in the gold, platinum, and silver. Now they've done away with them. They're a different platform as well. But I just want to show you the size difference there. So let's look at the AMD socket history. So AMD 4 came out in 2016. They are still making processors for AMD 4 in 2025. I assume they're probably maybe going to stop in 2026, but I don't know that for sure. And then AMD 5 came out in 2022. They're still supporting it in 2025. They're talking about the new CPUs coming out are going to be supporting AM5, which is exciting because I'm not saying I'll update right away, but it gives me an upgrade path. So my biggest thing about PCs is upgradability. That is my pet peeve. How easy is it for me to upgrade this system when I want to upgrade it? And Intel has just made it harder and harder for you to stay on the same platform without having to upgrade everything. And so that's my big thing. And of course I went with the AM5 platform because I know the AM4 is on its way out. But it's had a great run. I mean, 10 years. It's going to be 10 years on that one platform. That's incredible. And so I've just become more and more impressed with AMD, their CPUs and their GPUs over time. It's just a great platform. So this is basically my pet peeve with Intel, is they're changing their sockets way too soon with generations. You don't have a path of upgradability without spending money on a new motherboard, maybe a new RAM. I mean, it's just, AMD has just made it so easy to stay on the same platform but upgrade. So I'm looking at upgrade compatibility. That's what I'm really looking for. And I'm looking at performance, obviously, as well. I'm also looking at how much heat these CPUs produce now. I'm not a water cooler person. It almost seems like you have to put a water cooler on some of these Intel CPUs. And I'm not saying that AM5, you don't need one, but you can still keep them cool with a fan. So that's really it. I'm just more or less concerned about how long can I stay on this platform. Upgradability basically is it. And I'm just seeing that Intel is not concerned with the consumer. They're like, oh well, if you want this new CPU, you've got to get a new motherboard or you got to buy a new PC, and I'm just not into that. AMD's come a long way. I've been watching them for years. I've been watching the performance. I've been watching their quality. Okay, so in summary, first I want to mention, even though Intel came up with this humongous CPU for their Xeons, but so did AMD's Threadripper. They're both the same size. But what surprised me when I got this other system, it's 40 cores, 80 threads. It didn't perform that much better than my Z440, which that really surprised me, because you're talking a CPU twice the size. And so I just don't. Now again, this is a server workstation CPU, and the stuff that I was kind of doing, that I was hoping to do, I didn't realize that I had a core limit of 32 gigabytes, and I was already running that with my Z440. So in that case, having 80 cores or 80 threads, 40 cores, 80 threads didn't really help. So and that's kind of what drove me to, I decided I really need to invest in a new. I haven't bought anything new for so long, and with me having a YouTube channel, I really need to get something newer. But I want to review this again. So my whole situation here is I don't like to spend a lot of money on upgrades, obviously, because I haven't had a new computer. I don't even remember the last time I bought something brand new. This is a brand new motherboard, brand new CPU. Now when I say brand new, I did buy them used. The RAM is new, the case is new, so on and so forth. So I did save a little bit of money on the motherboard and the CPU by buying it used. But the performance, I am so happy with this performance, and it's just unfortunate Intel is they're losing their desktop market because they're changing their socket, their platform so often now that it just doesn't make sense. There's no upgrade path going to Intel, or it's very limited to a couple of years and that's it. And by the time someone's ready, maybe in 2 years, maybe they're ready for another CPU, then they got to buy another motherboard. It just doesn't make sense for even a gamer, someone that's doing productivity work, to go with Intel. Now, don't get me wrong, Intel makes a great productivity CPU, but I just want to be able to stay on a platform and upgrade for as long as I can. So, at any rate, and I think, and obviously, the heat situation with the Intel chips really hurt their bottom line as well. And so, with that being said and that being done, I'm a little leery to buy Intel, because I don't know, even in future ones, say 16, 17 gen, are they going to have issues with that? I'm not saying AMD can't have issues. They can, and I'm not saying that they haven't had issues in the past, but right now they're on the right path when it comes to their CPUs and upgrade path. So I hope this was informative, and maybe this is something that is on your mind as well. But this is why I'm going with AMD. I just want a longer upgrade path without having to swap out parts to get a new CPU. So this is TJ with TechmadeEZ. Hope that was helpful, enlightening. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.
Now that was easy peasy.